To give you guys a context, this was leading up to his plea entry date. He was supposed to enter a guilty or not guilty plea today, I want to say. And I was expecting to talk about that today, but I'll get to that in a second. Instead, on the precipice of this date, he wrote this entry. He writes, "Dear Diary, I've been thinking a lot about David for a while now. David is a walking dichotomy. I hate him. I don't like his character. I don't know who the David is, but I think that's a nickname for Aaron. So he can talk about Aaron without causing any legal issues for himself. I hate how he is venerated and his sins are ignored. I hate that his obviously brutish behavior is excused. He exploited so many people with a quiet threat of violence. He took what he wanted. He killed or ordered and killed those. Wait, is he talking about the biblical David? Bible David. Okay, King David. He killed or ordered or killed those who stood in the way of his birthright, his ambition, or his mere wants. David was a bad man. Yet, the more I think of his story, the more I see myself." Yeah, buddy. David suffers from a capacity problem. From the reader's standpoint, most of us are not a king who can have a man killed to hide our infidelity. We look at the audacity of murder and it forces us to overlook the infidelity. Fidelity, I think, is the hardest thing to maintain for honest adults. Fidelity is faithfulness and support in all circumstances. Now, we might mitigate infidelity in so many ways, not actually having sex, having a hall pass or permission, or pretending that it is limited to mere sexuality in the first place. Your relationship is probably not solely defined by sex, so neither can fidelity be so limited. I know my own infidelities are a myriad, and almost none of them involve sexuality in any way. But we always want an excuse. We need excuses because we cannot kill our problems like David could. David's status gave him the capacity to sin bigger than us. David's originating sins are the same as any mere man or woman at the value of the character, and that's the message. God's love of David transcends his immense capacity to sin audaciously before the Lord. The message is not that David is so special, rather that David's sins are that the mere extrapolation of our own when unshackled by the restrictions of our status. I hate David because I am David. I hate me. I hate my sins and my failures. I hate my infidelities. I hate when I have killed to get my way. I hate the result of all my choices being a shattered state. I hate that there isn't anyone else to blame. We sin within our capacity. We feel bigger than we knew our capacity to be. The scariest part is that I always just wondering when the storm is finished, I can go outside and start picking up pieces. God's message is that he was there before the storm, protected you during the storm, and will help you clean up after, even though you flapped your stupid wings hard enough to create that storm in the first place. At least my sons have not raised armies against me yet. I still have that on David. I don't know. This is another way, and he does this quite a bit, where he tries to say, I'm taking, everybody knows that the correct thing to do when you've done something wrong is to take accountability. But this is one of the ways that Rekieta has repeatedly insisted to the world that he takes accountability for the things that he has done without actually taking accountability for anything that he's done. It makes a biblical allegory in a way that's kind of like a humble brag, comparing himself to a literal fucking king. And says, much like David, I have reaped the whirlwind, and now I am accountable for my own actions, for which I am solely responsible for. But it's like, what have you actually done to take accountability? What do you intend to do to take accountability? When you say that you take accountability, what does that mean? And he would just respond to that saying, like, well, that's personal. I don't owe you anything. It's like, well, saying is one thing and doing is another. And every single thing that I see you do is merely an insistence that you're in the right and everybody else is in the wrong and they can eat shit. And then you post these fruity little diatribes about how actually you are so grateful for your grace and what little you have left, and you understand how precious things are. I feel so insincere. But obviously he would just insist that he's not trying to impress me, A-log, incel prude. One thing, by the way, that is very indicative that he has absolutely no sense of accountability, is that he continues to pay pig to a fucking child who has at many different points in his time joked about children, specifically children of people that he knows personally. So I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to be taking from that, but on the eve of his plea hearing, he sent $100. Rekieta law for $100 says, "Thank you for all the well wishes and the support today. I have to go do something that is anathema. That is anathema to me. Why don't you say antithetical? What the fuck's the point of using the Greek word for that? Anathema to me because it is the right thing to do." And I have 2 boys to teach how to be men. You've always been a neutral voice, and that's all I've ever asked for. So, it's been set. He's writing poetry about King David and how King David had to reap the whirlwind for his sins, his grave sins against God. And he is having to take accountability and go do something antithetical to him and his wishes. And then the day of the plea deal comes and continuance. Well, it sounds like he was ready to accept some kind of plea deal, but it's been kicked back almost 2 weeks. Now, a Minnesota attorney and a former criminal prosecutor had a little discussion with me about this where he or her pitched his or her idea on why this can happen. So these kinds of things are discretionary to a judge. A judge can effectively do whatever the fuck he wants. He compared judges to 800-pound gorillas. They can do whatever they want, and you can't really do anything about it. They will just do whatever the fuck they want, and that's just their nature. So this could just be the judge being like, well, the schedule didn't work out. We'll do this in December. It is Thanksgiving Day week, after all. We got shit to do. We got turkey to eat. C'est la vie. Let's catch you in December. Or it could be that he is repeatedly delaying this plea deal so that his case syncs up more correctly with Kayla's case, because he may be intending to try them together, which I have been told by a defense attorney that joint trials are something that judges and courts do for judicial expediency and cost saving, and not necessarily to the benefit of the defendants. He says that every defense attorney will object to a joint trial because it is impossible to say that they don't prejudice both of the defendants to try the people together. So that would, by its nature, be detrimental to both Kayla and Nick. I always call him Rekieta, but Kayla's also Rekieta. Make any sense? I have to make sure I say Nick. That would be prejudicial to both of them to have them together, because Kayla would look bad standing next to Nick. They kind of look like partners in crime if you have them literally tried together. So that could be the other reason why. The third reason why could be that, because they did show up in court, and I'll read some notes in a second, but it could be that they couldn't agree on anything on that day, and so or something came up where they expected that they would have an agreement, and then at the last second they're like, wait a second, I didn't agree to that, so they had to postpone it so that the parties could discuss things. There's any number of explanations. The most conspiratorial of that would be that the judge wants them to be tried together, and that's an indication that he's trying to sync their timelines up together. Then a Kiwi, a tiki barman, actually went over and took some notes. The notes read, April gives Nick, because that is the Cyrillic alphabet ch, or I think it's the ch. Anyways, April gives Nitch a huge hug. She has heavy caged on foundation and mascara. Muddy combat boots, blue jeans, some weird coat with big gold buttons down the arms. She looks puffy, has been crying for sure. Dude, I'm sorry. This is just like written, and it's not like untidy looking characters. He just writes his characters in like the weirdest ways. Why do you write your letters this way? I don't understand. At 2:19, she went to the bathroom down the hall, and I hear her sniffling and tearing paper towels and faucet sounds. No toilet, most likely. Still waiting outside. Court just met April. She looks incredibly tense, eyes either down or staring off, a ring on every finger, silver holographic nails. Oh, someone's watching TikTok. 4 bracelets on each arm. Super awkward. Small talk between April and Kayla. April tries to help Kayla throw out the fast food container. They talk a tiny bit about nothing, then hang out facing each other awkwardly. The bailiff comes out. Must note both Kayla and April are playing with something in their hands. April, her glasses. Kayla, car keys. So tense, they feel awkward. They definitely. I think he's trying to say like most deaf. They definitely feel awkward and are self-soothing. We finally enter the courtroom. Nitch and Kayla stand together while April stands a few feet away, awkwardly staring at them. And then this is page 2. Nitch and Kayla are whispering to each other, and April is trying to whisper to them while standing a few feet away. Lol, it's awkward. Can't move or make out. That is not a fucking K, bro. That thing right there that you are doing is not the letter K. That is ch in Cyrillic, okay? Make out what they are saying. Sorry. Nitch, look, redis, cheaps, sighting, and looching up. No one is touching. All 3 just standing around can hear a pin drop. Now Nitch and April are having some convo that he's smiling at her and she's giggling while Chayla stands out and silent gripping her left arm at the elbow with her right hand. She looks so tense from behind. Can't wait to see her face. It's down. Or can't see her face. It's down. Bro, there is like 5 people in here and court is still not in session. Chayla has some death grip on those car keys. Can see her hand veins. Feel a bit, and I think that means bad for her, but he says, no, I don't. Oh, well. Okay, so apparently it was all figured out in the bathroom and no court session happened. Fucking pussies. Wow, Lamau. But nothing happened, basically. And this guy learns that his letter K is the worst fucking thing that I've ever seen ever in any handwriting. Sorry, I'm just sorry. Like I see that and I'm like, that's not an English alphabet language. That's not an Latin alphabet. Look, I'm gonna show you guys this. You cannot give me shit. Okay, look at his K. It's like a number 4, but when I see it, I just think of this. And it's the ch sound in Russian. It's like, that's what it looks like. It's a ch. It's not